banning homeless encampments. More on the proposal heard by San Diego City leaders today.
Plus, neighbors tell us they're concerned about the condition of several horses on a ranch in North County.
Local school districts versus social media giants. Details on the lawsuit just filed.
We're working for you to find out what are these fascinating sea creatures that have washed ashore our local beaches.
And on 9/11, this Marine ran toward the trouble. The legs she lost and community she gained, helping veterans with disabilities.
CBS 8 News live at 6 starts right now.
San Diego City leaders are still in a meeting tonight talking about a controversial idea to ban homeless encampments in public areas. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Kirsten Holmes in for Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. The City Council's Land Use and Housing Committee meeting started at 1 this afternoon. A lot of interest. It stretched all the way into the evening. CBS 8's Shannon Handy is live at City Hall with the very latest for us. Shannon?
Yeah, Carlo and Kirsten, this has been going on for hours, and we are just moments away from a vote. This proposal is expected to move forward to the council. Take a look at what's going on behind me. Committee members are up there talking about this. Now, one of the members already brought forth a motion to send this proposal to the city council without a recommendation. But again, the committee has yet to officially vote. Now, this is all happening after 3 hours of public comment with more than 100 speakers, both for and against this issue. One of the committee members, Council Member Kent Lee, explained why he specifically is not in support of the ordinance as written.
Every city in this region should be providing shelter and affordable housing, and I hope the community members that have been here today are carrying that message to others as well. Because regardless of what others do, we must continue to do the right thing. That's why today I will not be supporting moving this ordinance forward as it currently stands. Rather, I would ask that this be returned to this committee in the future, only once some clear answers are received.
Among those answers, how will this ordinance be enforced? Now, its official name is the Unauthorized Camping on Public Land Ordinance. The ordinance would ban encampments on public property if shelter beds are available. And even if shelter beds aren't available, encampments will still not be allowed within 2 blocks of schools, shelters, open space, waterways, transit hubs, trolley tracks, and in specific parks. It was introduced by District 3 City Council member Stephen Whitburn. Whitburn says the ordinance was designed to protect not only the health and safety of homeless people, but also the health and safety of residents. As I mentioned, several people spoke out both for and against this proposal. Take a listen to some of those earlier comments.
They have seen people having sex. They have seen men punch women in the face and leave them bloodied, and they come to school and talk to us about it. They have seen people defecating in bags, throwing the bags on the street. They have been cussed at continuously. They have been spat at.
But those folks are just going to be moved in front of another residence, another property. You'll be told a bunch of lies that that's not going to happen. But unless you're going to bring in the National Guard or the federal whoever, it's going to happen. Trust me, I've documented it for a decade or more.
And that first man you heard from there, he's a principal at a school in Barrio Logan. Now, again, even though you heard Kent Lee say he will not support this ordinance as it is written, it is believed that the committee today will vote to move this proposal forward without a recommendation. So what does that mean? Well, basically, it will go before the city council, and then the city council will discuss this ordinance. This does not mean that it passes today, that this will go into effect. There's still a lot of discussion that needs to be had before any of that occurs. In fact, a lot of the committee members said, we like the idea, but we don't have enough information about it. And so that's where we're at this point. So we, of course, will stay on top of this story. We have another reporter inside chambers, and we will have another report on what happens coming up at 10 o'clock on the CW and 11 on CBS 8. Back to you guys.
Some breaking news we've been following in Escondido. That fire truck was just pulled free a short time ago, we're told, after getting stuck in a hole in a parking lot. There was worry at first that a sinkhole was opening up underneath. The left front tire of the engine crashed through the pavement and appeared to be sinking deeper. This all started just before 5 near the 1000 block of Country Club Lane. Another truck was brought in to pull the engine out and did so successfully. A follow-up tonight on the suspicious death of a man whose body was found on a sidewalk in El Cajon yesterday. Police are investigating the case as a homicide. The body was found beside Fletcher Parkway near Parkway Plaza Mall just before 7 yesterday morning. Police say the victim, a man in his early 30s, suffered obvious and suspicious injuries. No other details are being released right now. Anyone with information should call El Cajon police. A woman is in the hospital tonight after she was hurt in a hit and run in Little Italy. San Diego police say they're looking for a man who was driving a gray Nissan Frontier pickup. The woman was crossing Columbia Street about 6:15 this morning while the driver was making a left turn from Hawthorne Street. Police have not revealed any other details about the driver. The victim has serious injuries, but she is expected to survive.
San Diego police need your help tonight. They are looking for a man who robbed a Subway restaurant. Police say the man seen in this picture walked into the Subway on El Cajon Boulevard in Peralta West on the evening of February 14th. During the robbery, he indicated he had a knife in his pocket. He's 40 to 45 years old, 5'8", with a medium build. He's also described as bald with stitches on his head and has a goatee. If you know anything that could help, please call San Diego Police or Crime Stoppers at the number on your screen. That number is 888-580-8477.
CBS 8 is working for you to get answers about a horse ranch in Escondido where neighbors have been complaining about the condition of the animals.
Yeah, a horse rescue expert called CBS 8 and said they are very concerned about this situation. As David Gottfredson reports, County Animal Control is now investigating.
Several horses can be seen from the road standing in stalls on this 1.5-acre ranch along Kuanaloa Drive in Escondido. Concerned neighbors reached out to Audrey Reynolds, founder of Saving Horses Incorporated, who has worked in horse rescue for more than a decade.
What I saw was horses standing in thick, deep mud. There was one little mare right next to the road, and she was literally standing in a pool of mucky, muddy water that she could not get out of.
Reynolds took these photos showing horses standing in dirty stalls, their coats unkept and caked in dirt. She filed a complaint with Animal Control.
My concern would be for not only for the well-being of the older emaciated horses, but also for all of the ones that have been standing in muck for months. This really can affect their feet in a very negative way.
Not all of the horses were in bad condition, so Reynolds tried to talk to the ranch owner.
She said that she had rescued these horses many years ago, and she realized that they were old and that they had special needs, but she really didn't offer any type of suggestion to me that, that she would try to do a better job.
The property owner did not respond to messages from CBS 8 seeking comment. I reached out to San Diego County Animal Services. A spokesperson emailed me a statement saying, animal service officers visited the property on Saturday. The officer was able to observe all animals on the property and address concerns. The owner is taking steps to comply with officers' mandates, and a meet time has been scheduled with the owner to revisit the property.
A couple of horse experts, really, who live in the area have been talking to me and saying enough is enough. They're tired of having to drive by those horses and feel sorry and sad for them.
David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
A quote, credible threat closed the state capitol in Sacramento today, but it was back open in less than 2 hours. And now police are looking for the person responsible. CHP says the threat was made by Jackson Penny. Police also say he's the suspect in 2 nearby shootings. Penny is accused of shooting a gun out of his car window while driving through 2 neighborhoods last night. Thankfully, no one was hurt in those shootings. At last check, Penny is still on the loose, so officers at the Capitol are still on high alert. And new life is on the way for Palm Avenue Bridge in Otay Mesa thanks to a $24 million grant. The money comes from the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act. Officials say the overpass over the 805 will get several upgrades, including sidewalks and bike lanes. The on and off ramps will also be realigned. Leaders say the project will help ease traffic.
Now, this half-century-old bridge carries more than 38,000 vehicles per day, including more than 750 trucks. We counted. That volume of traffic, combined with the age and the size of the bridge, leads to congestion and delays.
Today's announcement comes on the heels of the completion of the new Mission Bay Bridge.
They don't wash ashore very often, but when they do, they're hard to miss. Blue jellyfish-like blobs have been spotted across our local beaches. CBS 8's Abby Black is working for you to find out what they are and if they're harmful.
If you've been to the beach lately, you might notice some blue-looking blobs like this. We're working for you to find out what are these fascinating creatures that sail on the ocean surface.
Camouflaged in the colorful rocks at Torrey Pine State Beach, you'll spot some unusual blue jelly-like creatures wedged in the sand.
Right, they just blend in with the rocks really well.
As Angelo Scolari was digging for rocks to throw, he couldn't help but notice the blue sails.
2 of them here, another big guy up here.
They look like jellyfish, but when we went to Scripps Institute of Oceanography, we learned they're part of the Hydrozonas group.
So these things that we're seeing washing up on our shores are called Velella. And even though they look like jellyfish, they're actually not. So they're more closely related to an animal called the Portuguese man of war.
PhD student Anya Steiner studying biology oceanography and says during her undergrad she studied the Velleas that earned the nickname by the wind sailors after their sail-like shape.
Which couldn't be more accurate because these guys really can't move themselves around in the water. They are totally at the mercy of their little sails, which is why they can sometimes wash ashore.
Steiner says that they are a cosmopolitan species, meaning they float across the world, but it often takes a combination of shortboard winds and plentiful food to see them wash ashore.
So they'll eat lots of little zooplankton, kind of like pictures that you can see here.
We dug through our archives and found them saturated across our beaches in 2015 and 2016. Although they do have stingers like a jellyfish, do they sting if you touch them?
And I would recommend against touching anything that you don't really know what it is, but Velellas particularly don't have any toxins in them that would hurt a human, as far as we know. Okay, if you're a larval fish, though, then beware, because the Velellas will get you.
As we walked along the Torrey Pine State Beach, we found the Velleas, but they've also been recently spotted all along the Southern California coast. You just have to take a closer look and you'll find them.
They're a really important part of our ecosystem, and it's really exciting to see them because they are sort of what I would consider rare.
Working for you, I'm Abby Black, CBS 8.
Now you know. Still ahead. Concerns over Lyme disease and more ticks after our wet winter here in California.
Plus, Fort Lauderdale's rainiest day on record, and even more rain is headed to the southwest part of the state tonight.
We are talking about some rain, nothing like that. They're dealing with historic rainfall, but we did have some showers earlier today. We're still holding on to chances through tomorrow morning. Your complete forecast ahead.
And up next, former President Trump is back in New York for another legal battle.